A very good morning to all of you. This is Dr.Saiful Ahad from the Department of English, Nava Nalanda Mahavihar Nalanda. In this lecture, I have brought another topic regarding grammar. The topic is an introduction to advanced grammar and uses. This is made and designed especially for M.A. English second semester students, paper 8. Dear students, we have learned grammar since our school days, and we have worked hard at words, at sentences, at translations, and other so many structural and linguistic techniques of grammar and writing section. Now you will ask me, why is it that this paper has been set for M.A. English second semester students? I will clear this confusion of yours in a minute. It is sometimes very necessary for all of us to look back to the rules and regulations of grammar, to look back at our own internal works with language. Sometimes we become so spontaneous and so advanced in our literary tools and technology that we forget the very base of our language, which is grammar. Another reason must have been that students from second language situation, students who have for some reason or other not attended their high school grammar, and they somehow managed to find their entry into higher studies in English, they should once again look back to their foundational course, because when we are doing advanced studies in language and literature and we are unable to understand how to frame a sentence, what are the parts of speech, what are the different types of sentences, what are the behaviors of words, what is the style of sentences, how many types of sentences are there in English language, and other things related with grammar as well. So, in this lecture, I will be dealing with topics like sentences, parts of speech, how to use words effectively, and other ancillary things of grammar as well. From time to time, I will also be discussing about the nature and behavior of sentences in different contexts. So let us begin now from sentence. We know that a sentence is a collection of words well ordered, and it means a certain thing. The meaning of that sentence must be clear, otherwise, only a collection of words do not make any sense, and thereby they do not make a sentence. For example, if I say that cat milk drinks, no. The sentence does have three words, but its order is not as per the rules and regulations of grammar. We will have to say cat drinks milk. So this structure or this pattern follows certain pattern of grammar, that the place of subject must be at its own place, and the place of verb and the place of object must be at its place. If we reverse the order, then it doesn't mean anything. We use so many types of sentences since morning till late evening, but we do not normally realize or pause to think what type of sentences we are using or what sorts of sentences we have spoken. But if you analyze, you will feel that each and every sentence you speak or write fall within the category of the sentences. Broadly speaking, a sentence may make a statement, it may negate an idea, it may command, it may give order, or it may also express certain kinds of excitement or joy or wonder. So, the sentence which makes a statement we can call a very assertive sentence or a positive sentence. For example, if I say that I am a teacher of English literature, so this is a sentence which falls within the category of assertive sentence. But if I say go and fetch a glass of milk, it means that it is an order, it is an operative sentence. It is a sentence that gives a command. A master gives the command to his servant that go and fetch a glass of water. If I say, have you done your MA? It is an interrogative sentence because a sentence asks a question and it needs to be given an answer either in affirmative or in negative. But sometimes human mind is passing through joys and sorrows and wonder and astonishment, and then he blurts out or she blurts out, oh, he is no more. Alas, Gandhiji is no more. Or hurrah, we have won the match. Or wow, we have scored maximum marks in the examination. So these are different moods that express, and so they can be categorized within exclamatory sentences. So we should also know that a sentence is divided into two parts, subject and predicate. A subject is that part of the sentence about which we have to say something, and a predicate is that part of sentence which completes the sentence, which usually contains verb and a complement. For example, if I say that she has taken her breakfast. So we are talking about a girl or a woman, and we have used the pronoun she. And the part of the sentence from has taken her breakfast is a complement which usually contains a verb, maybe a finite verb as well. So sentences also have phrases and clauses. And what is a phrase? A phrase is a part of sentence. And a clause is also that part of sentence which has its own verb and its own object. The verb is a finite verb. It means that it must take an object to complete a sentence. And as per the requirement of the thoughts, as per the requirement of the necessity, we do not always use simple sentences. We use compound sentences, complex sentences, sometimes compound and complex sentences as well. So there we have to take care of the proper use of clauses. There are broadly two types of clauses, independent clauses or dependent clauses. Independent clauses are those clauses which are self sufficient, and dependent clauses are those clauses which complete their meaning from the main clauses. So we can also say main clause and subordinate clause. If I say that she is the brave soldier who fought amidst trouble. She is a brave soldier. This part of the sentence also contains a clause. Is a brave soldier. That is also a clause. Who fought bravely amidst trouble means who fought bravely amidst trouble. This in itself doesn't make a sentence. If this part of the sentence has to complete its meaning, it has to depend on the principal clause or main clause. So when we are using simple sentences, we are not using more clauses, but when we are using complex sentences, we have to use more clauses. And in compound complex sentences, the number of compound and complex clauses become all the more necessary. But we should realize that it is a matter of practice. Grammar is sometimes not a matter of memorizing the rules and regulations. The rules and regulations we memorize so long as we have not acquired the ability or felicity to use the language properly. Once we have acquired the requisite caliber or requisite felicity to understand the nature and behavior sentences, we do not consciously tread the path of grammar, although those rules and regulations of grammar are very much employed in the sentences we write or speak. For example, it must be remembered that every word that we speak, consciously or unconsciously, falls within a particular part of a speech. English words have been divided into parts of a speech, 8 parts of a speech, and they have been divided as per their nature and behavior in sentences. We also see that sometimes one part of a speech is also behaving in two different ways. Sometimes one is adjective, sometimes the same adjective becomes a verb, or the same noun also becomes other parts of a speech. I must remind yourself of the parts of a speech we have learned during our high school days. But before I remind you, I must tell you that nouns are basically of two types. What are they? They are countable noun and uncountable noun. There are other categorizations also: proper noun, abstract noun, material noun, collective noun, and other types of also nouns are there. And for our memory's sake, for our felicity's sake, we have divided it between two parts, that those nouns that we can count are countable nouns, and those nouns which cannot be counted are uncountable nouns. So, parts of speech are noun, pronoun, adjective, verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, interjection. Needless to mention and needless to explain each and every part of speech here, because everybody knows that a noun is a naming word and pronoun is a word that replaces a noun. An adjective is a word that is used to add something to the meaning of a noun or a pronoun. And now you should know what we add. We add so many things like the ability of a person, behavior of a person, or the width or size of an object, or the qualities of an object or a person. So these are the qualifying words. An adjective is a qualifying words. They qualify noun and pronouns in a sentence. And needless to say about preposition, the importance of preposition in English language is very important, and it is a matter of practice for the conscious readers of English language and grammar. Preposition is a word that shows the relationship of one object to another object in relation of time and space. So we have to enumerate prepositions that we know: at, on, in, off, into, above, across, and there are a host of prepositions, and it will serve a very nice purpose of yours if you try to enumerate each part, each preposition, and try to know its use within the sentence. That is a separate effort. As for adverb, everybody knows that an adverb is a word that qualifies a verb, an adjective, or even another adverb. So, verb is also important. It is a vehicle of communication, you say, and most of the time we are using verbs of so many types. So, verb is an action word. It normally says what noun or pronoun is doing in a sentence. So, in general terms, also we can say that they are doing words. Verbs are doing words, and conjunction is also very important. It joins two words or two sentences or more than that. For example, but, and, beneath, across, and other conjunctions are also there. We have to get mastery over conjunction as well. And interjection, everybody knows that it is an exclamatory word like ah, oof, bravo, hurrah, oh, wonder. Wonder words are them. So we have done it at our school level, and here I feel that a teacher should not always point out the very basic things, and a teacher's role here is just to tell the students to look for those things and remind themselves of those things. My most concern here is to tell you how to use words properly and effectively. This is very important for everyone who wants to be an skilled or a proficient writer in English, or a proficient speaker of English as well. Now, words are the media to communicate, but words do not always become clear when you use it loosely or without any kind of feeling. So, a word you have used, it is a ball in your coat. The word is a ball in your coat. Now you can use it the way you want. If you use it accurately, it is to your credit, and if you fail to use it appropriately, it is much to your discredit, because word itself doesn't say that I have this and this meaning. It is the user, it is the conscious user, deliberate user who invests meaning into the words with its proper use and execution. You know that even good words, standard words, if they are not used effectively, they lose their meaning and they fail to just carry the intended meaning of the speaker. So we have to consciously use words effectively, and we can be good users of word, we can be effective users of words if we try to learn how to frame sentences initially with the small words. I have an experience of classroom teaching, and I feel that sometimes students have lots of hesitation or lots of reluctance to use a word accurately or properly. But for students of literature, it should not be a problem, because they have to work in words. Words are the raw materials, words are the tools, words are the weapons with the use of which we can communicate our literary experiences, our critical understanding of different genres of literature. So, it is high time we remind ourselves of the proper uses of words at proper situations. But this entails a lot more problems, because first the user of the words will have to learn so many words consciously. They should know what are words, what are phrases, what are clauses, what are idioms, what are proverbs, what are maxims, and what are, other expressions in English. Because when we have tried to read and understand all those things, then we do not feel or find ourselves at a loss for words. Normally, what happens that when we are trying to write something or when we are trying to speak something, we generally falter for words, we fumble for words. Words do not come to your service. So, one person has said that make the words your servants, so that when you call them, they should come to you. Dear students, make a list of words, make a list of all those words and their synonyms also and their antonyms also. I always suggest my student to consult four or five books or three or four books that are very much important for our proper understanding of grammar and language and words. They are perhaps, I think, one is Brush Up Your English by S.T. Imam. This is a very, very important book where you will find a gallery of words in all the uses, synonyms, antonyms, homonyms, and one word substitution as well. This is also very important for those who are seeking to competitive examination. Another book is very important, and that is uh, How to Write Clean English by Alan Warner. Next is A Practical Guide to English Translation by A. Thakur. And Rain Martin's Grammar, High School English Grammar by Rain and Martin. Last but not the least may also be considered Birbal Jha's Tricks to Wordology. Birbal Jha is a good writer, and he has also brought Lingua Bulletin. So this can also be considered, because no book is bad provided the reader uses it properly. And as for dictionary, I don't have to say you, because you already are prudent enough to understand the roles and importance of dictionary for learning English at initial stage or even at higher stages also. For example, if you want to be a good writer, good speaker, and if you have to give public performances or you have to speak in capacities of a great role, so your English must be up to mark. Dictionaries, I think, may be consulted Oxford English Dictionary, Chambers Dictionary, Longman's Dictionary, Webster's Dictionary, or even Bhargava's or Sahini can also be considered or taken into consideration. We have to surf words on a regular basis. As we spend time on what is known as surfing the nets, our Facebooks, our Googles, and other social media like Facebook, so that is good. But a small amount of time should also be regularly devoted to the studies of words, because when you have acquired the ability to use words properly, you won't have to fumble much for writing or reading. Dear students, words are those tools which have the capacity to reach across a wide section of people and to put across your ideas very properly and succinctly. For example, if I tell you to use word ambiguity, there is a word ambiguity, ambiguity, ambiguity. So when you know the word ambiguity, at the same time you also have to know the word ambiguous, because ambiguous is an adjective from the same word ambiguity. You may say that, oh, his writing is ambiguous, means it has to be understood with an alternative meaning also. Or you can also say that there are lots of ambiguities in his writing. So the word ambiguity and then ambiguities. So you have used IES replacing Y. So this makes plural of the noun, because noun can be changed into plural by replacing the last word, the last letter with another things like S or IES. So this way you feel that no, you are in a position to understand that plural nouns can be made this way. If I take another word, caliber. So think about the word caliber, CALIBRE. Does it have any other word derivative of it? You just think and your mind says that no, there is no word comes to my memory which is a derivative of this word. So caliber is the mm, only word of its own kind, and if I tell you to make a sentence, you will use like this: oh sir, caliber, she is a woman of good caliber. This is not the only sentence. The word I have told you is in your court. The ball is in your court. You have the capacity, you have the liberty to use it to proper occasion, to use it very well. If you use it very well, it is much to your credit. If you fail to use it effectively, it is to your discredit. Gargantua. There is a word gargantua. So it is not a literary word, it is a very journalistic word or even an informal word. So as a student of language and literature, you have to know its meaning. Gargantua means very big in size or amount. Now, big may be a table, big may be a place, big may be a room. So you can use it the way you want. For example, if you tell me to use it, I will say that she had a gargantua appetite of reading every book that she lays her hand on. She has a gargantua appetite of reading all the books that she lays her hands on. Your sentence will be different from mine. You can say that this building is gargantua. You can also say that his appetite for knowledge is gargantua. Well, irregular practice at words is very necessary. Take words every day and try to use. I give you 10 words here, which I think that you will use it in your own sentences, in your own language, and you also try to puzzle your brain to find their appropriate antonyms. So enumerate. First, handsome, brave, deliberate, audacious, benevolent, magnanimity, noxious, flamboyant, doine, stalwart, etc. Now it is your duty to frame sentences, effective sentences, with the help of these words, and try to recall your mind for their antonyms, and make sentences with the use of antonyms also. Your task is not over here. You make a list of a number of simple sentences, maybe 50 simple sentences, 100 simple sentences. Then try to make 100 complex sentences, again 100 compound sentences, and once again, compound and complex sentences. So when you have done such a homework, then your mind will be able to perceive the differences between simple sentences and compound sentences, compound sentences and complex sentences and compound complex sentences as well. Otherwise, you do not differentiate what's happening to your mind. Why are you unable to frame sentences? And this is good for you. This is for your examination process purpose also. I am not giving you a hard task. You are not a student of high school. You are a student of higher studies. And questions in examinations will be, I'm sure, very simple or very up to mark. And when you have done homework on such things, you will not be at a loss to do things. We may give you a few sentences and ask you to demarcate what are simple sentences, what are complex sentences, and what are compound complex sentences. We may ask you to point out the clauses, the number of clauses in a sentence. We may ask you to give you to identify the phrases. So you should work hard to understand all these differences. Only then you know the real thing. Otherwise, you will be groping in dark throughout. Dear students, I feel and I have always felt that we students of literature have lots of words, lots of expressions in the field of poetry, fiction, novels, dramas, essays, short stories, a host of words we come across, and sometimes we lose our grip on them also. Sometimes I'm telling you my experience that when I read a fiction, a work of art, there are so many new and strange words come. Sometimes they sound well, sometimes they read well, and I try to look up their meaning in dictionary and want to memorize them because I have a desire to add to my stock of words, with new words every day, so that I may share with my students and friends also. Quest, there is a word quest. What quest means? A search or a desire. She has a quest for a spiritual knowledge. He has a quest for beauty. She has a quest for permanence. So quest is a search, quest is a desire. And maximize, there is a word maximize or optimize. What does it mean? Maximize, to make the most of something. Optimize also have the same meaning, to make the optimum use of a particular situation or particular thing. You must optimize your time. You must maximize your caliber. So this way, when you are framing your words into sentences, just weaving your words into weaving a string of words into the beauties of a sentence, then you feel that yes, this is the meaning of a word, because words mean differently sometimes to different writers, to different authors, and to different speakers as well. And T.S. Eliot, in his poem, perhaps Gerontian, has used a very alliterative sentence on words. He says, the word within a word, unable to understand a word. The word within a word, unable to understand a word. So this is an alliterative sentence, albeit in otherwise context. So words are not only the conveyors of your emotions, sometimes words are themselves telling their own expressions. You have used the words, but they did not carry your meaning. They themselves started telling their own pathetic tales, because in the modes of interpretations we have seen that you meant something and something else was meant. This is happening very much in the fields of literature, because when the writers use words, they do not use words with one meaning, or they sometimes never meant. It came as a spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings, and it is left to you to decipher, because literature is just a mirror of the society. It does not come with a meaning. Poets do not write poetry with a meaning. The meaning lies in the minds of the reader. The meaning lies in the minds of the critic. If you seek sense in literature, you get this. If you seek nonsense in literature, you get that. Gaiety sought, gaiety supplied. Idiocy sought, idiocy supplied. You get what you look for. Dear students, how to improve your English, how to improve your spellings also, because spellings are also very much important. They speak about your nature, behavior, your sincerity. There must not be any kind of mistakes in spellings at this stage. They have to be consciously avoided with regular practices. Now, how many of us do regularly practice deliberately words? We do not. Even if we come across words, we pass by as if we were a man not to look for these things. We have learned everything for a long time, and we think that we do not need to learn much. So do not keep the doors or avenues of learning shut. Always think in a positive way that you have yet to learn so many things. The world of knowledge is as vast as the world of ocean, and Shakespeare himself once said that I myself have been able to take only one drop out of that vast ocean of knowledge. And just think, where are we in comparison to Shakespeare? We are nowhere in comparison to Shakespeare. We have only to know that we have to know everything that is knowable. And if we are moving ahead with this attitude, any topic we can take, we should not feel humiliated, or we should not feel reluctant that how can we take topics like nouns and pronouns and grammars and syntax and figures of speech and phrases and clauses and other things of grammar at this stage. No, at any stage we can consult any topic if it is not clear. And sometimes, with the long gap in our student life or in our career, sometimes a long time passes since we matriculated, and those topics which we have not studied during our matriculation time, there is no shame in referring back to them. And when it comes to your syllabus, the task of yours becomes all the more important. There is no excuse, there is no hesitation. This is a period where we are getting lots and lots of time to use and employ for the betterment of our career, for the betterment of our mind, and for the betterment of our friends and relatives also. So use your time properly, utilize your time to the maximum level. Do not waste your time, do not waste your words. Every time is important, every breath is important, and learning never stops. So why will you stop learning? Did you understand what I said? Learning never stops. So why did you want to stop your learning? Go back, refer back to the topic, read it properly, and if any confusion arises, you mark it, you underline it. You are free to consult your teacher at all hours. We are ready to handle or tackle your topic, your problems every time, but we cannot do homeworks on your behalf. We are just teachers, and the roles of teachers are like good guardians, like good, mentors. We can mentor you, we can shepherd you to better direction. Shepherding students to better direction is one of the primary purposes of a teacher, and it is very pertinent to remind ourselves of Rabindranath Tagore, what he said about a good teacher. He says, a good teacher does not only impart knowledge and information to his students, but he knocks at the doors of the minds of the students. What does it mean if you analyze that? Bare sharing of information, bare exchanging of informations and knowledge among the students to the students is not enough. A teacher should try to excite the curiosity, activate the minds of the students to read for themselves, because self study is the best study, self help is the best help. How can I help you in this? You have to know the types of sentences. So you memorize. You have to know the kinds of sentences. So you have to work at home. Simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences. How many more examples can we say? We can only guide you, because this is not a tough topic. This is not a topic on literary movement or literary period. Had it been a topic on literary movement or literary period, we would have shown our critical vision on that, because we know that you are students will not be able to such an extent to think what the writer actually intends to say, or what is actually the critical response of a particular work of art. So there we will share our critical vision on a particular work of art, on a particular literary periods or movements, as we have done from time to time. But this topic is a very basic topic, very fundamental topic, and you can also learn this topic by sharing your experiences with your young siblings, with your brothers and sisters as well. You must have your brothers in intermediate level, in first year graduation level, or your matriculation level. You take a topic, you read it first, and then teach this topic to your younger brother, because this will be a beneficiary act as well. Because knowledge, if it is kept unused, it remains stagnant, like that stinking water in a drain. Let knowledge flow, let noble thought come from every quarter, and the more you use your knowledge, the pure and crystal your knowledge becomes. You know that knowledge is bias. Knowledge has to be sought. It is the goddess of learning. We should not hesitate to learn or understand any topic. Adjectives, adverbs, verbs, preposition, they have to be mastered. And when you are reading any fiction which you are supposed to read, you deliberately pause there, you deliberately ponder at the use of proper things, proper parts of speech there, and you can also memorize that sentence. What happens when you memorize sentences in English? The system becomes inbuilt in you. We are all the learners of second language. English is not our first language. English is our second language, and this foreign language has to be learned with conscious use of words, with regular use of words. And every second time we use words, the nature and behavior of words changes. For example, if I tell you to write an essay on cow, you have written or you have penned down a very beautiful essay on the cow, and I have seen, okay, it's okay. 1 week elapses, and I tell you to pen down another essay on the cow you have written, and your treatment of the topic changes, and your use of the words also undergoes changes. What happened? Because it is the mood sometimes which dictates the words. In both these essays, you will not find the use of the same words. If you find the use of the same words, it is just a coincidence. It is not with the help of the memory. Memory retains only a number of words, and when you have to express your thoughts, you don't know which words will come to you. And when you have stocked the words, when you have used the word so many times at so many places, only then those words will come to your mind and you will be able to write. But there are some of the sentences which are already ready made, and which every person uses without any conscious effort. So that is another thing. Sometimes sentences have to be reproduced, they are just cut and pasted, cut, copied and pasted. So that is for the sake of serving the immediate purpose. And I see in so many official letters also that some of the words and expressions are only cut, copied and pasted. This happens because in offices always you will not find that a good teacher is sitting, or a good linguist is sitting to dictate to you letters every now and then. So a kind of performa is there, a kind of ready-made system is inbuilt there, and just with the replacement of the main topics, the sentences are brought to the use. But this can be changed also if the clerk or the person concerned has developed certain amounts of linguistic proficiency. He can, or he has the liberty to frame sentences, to frame the expressions from his own side also. Nobody is going to prevent him or object to him. He also has the liberty, provided he is capable of communicating the message. So I think that this is enough for today, and I hope that I will keep inspiring you. My lecture is just a kind of encouragement to you, inspiration to you, to keep yourself in touch with books, to keep yourself in touch with good thoughts, to keep yourself in touch with good teachers also, because they are your perpetual friends. Books, teachers, pens, and your good ideas, your positive thoughts, they are always with you. They will always bless you even with their unseen presence. So take care of you, stay safe, stay at home, because once again the government has imposed lockdown in Bihar, and it will continue from 16th of July to 31st of July. And I hope and pray that this pandemic comes to its end, this pandemic comes to its natural demise, and the normalcy of life is restored, so that we can have the opportunity to have a face-to-face interaction with our students. But we will have to wait and watch. Take rest. Goodbye. Bye bye.